What made you lose respect for someone? When my husband's friend told us DCS was after them because they had dropped their newborn twice and caused fractures. Their excuse was because they were partying too much. They could have cared less about him. He tried apologizing to me so he could keep his friendship with my husband, but I said absolutely not. I could never be associated with someone like this. One of my best friends from 6th grade to 10th plotted with my younger sister to use me so they could get closer to each other. So I lost respect for two people. When they start disrespecting others for flimsy and arbitrary reasons, like he's annoying because he talks too monotonously. Several years ago I bought a house with a couple of longtime friends, rather than renting, which is dead money. Long story short, we found a house, bought it and moved in, and all was good for the first year or so. Some small arguments but nothing serious, then it started. We noticed one of the guys was putting in less and less. We'd all agreed on £400 per month, and some months it was as low as £250. We approached him on it several times, but it was excuse after excuse. Then came the drinking. Then came the homophobic slurs. The third housemate was gay. In the end we'd had enough, offered double what he'd put in to buy his share. Still wouldn't budge. By then the money had stopped altogether. Basically it was me and the third housemate paying everything. We both moved out soon after and the house went on the market. He did what he could to stop viewings on the property, and in the end we had to drag him through the courts, stop all essential services, gas, water, etc., which eventually drove him out of the property, not before destroying the back door. He still owes us several £1,000s, but it's just not worth the effort. We've both moved on since then, the house has sold and we're happy. No idea what that guy is doing, and I couldn't care less. Hating on games like, come on, it's my opinion on how I think about a game. Not getting vaccinated. Anti-vax. Attitude. Seeing a guy get caught up in a to catch a predator-like scheme. Cheated. My best friend admitted to being a serial bully. She then went into graphic details about how she bullied the kids in all the schools she grew up in. She then told me that she terrorized another girl so badly that said girl was admitted to a psych ward, and to that present day, suffers from PTSD. She said all this while laughing. She was given a choice from the state, which was basically, stay away from your husband for a set time, I think it was 3 months, and get a job, or lose your kids, 3F and newborn male. They were a whirlwind relationship, married/knew each other less than a year. I can't recall the exact reasoning for the court order, but I believe there were some drug issues on his end at the time. Kids were in foster care until she could meet the requirements. She was living with us after this started, and chose the guy over her kids. I was done after that. If you choose anyone over your kids, I'm done. My ex flat out refused to flush the toilet after using it despite numerous pleas for her to behave like a civilized human. Her reasoning was that I could flush the toilet before using it. When I attempted to see if what was good for the goose was good for the gander by giving her a taste of her own medicine, she raised holy hell about having to witness my excrement. I said feelings are mutual. She continued her behavior regardless. All respect lost. Dumped her and her dumps the next week. When a girl that I trusted all and I actually had as a good friend ended up being someone that used me just to talk to other guys, and at the end she left me, which made me really mad. But a few months later she realized that everyone left her and she became lonely, then reaching out back to me. That's when I lost respect to her. I had just ended things with my then boyfriend of 2 years. What pissed me off the most was how he would hit on my other girlfriends after our breakup. My best friend at the time was visiting another country and consoled me during this period, telling me it'll be okay and we would have a lot of fun once she came back. She never told me when she got back and completely ghosted me for a year. I saw his car park near her house when I drove by. She and I lived close by, and had a hunch. A year later, both reached out to me separately after their bitter breakup. She said sorry and told me he cheated on her. He said he never liked her. Lamau. I was going to college full time, and had got into a relationship with a former GF. We had split up because my parents moved our family to a different city a few hours away while in high school, who was pregnant with her first child. The father was a deadbeat pothead former friend of mine, a genius but one who never applied himself to anything, including fatherhood, and I was working full time at a grocery store. Girlfriend and I lived together, and I was proud to be paying bills and helping to keep a roof over our head. I say helping, because GF's dad was a doctor, and had sent her to this city to get away from the drama of being a single mom in our former small town. He sent her a check for like $1,500 a month, so she never worked a day in her life. Anyway, a semester comes up where I'm short like $300 for a textbook for one of my IT classes. I didn't want to ask my mum for anything because she was going through a divorce from my stepdad. My parents had me in high school and never married. Father bounced when I was 2 to 3. I call up the old man, and tell him the situation, and ask to borrow $300 for a school book, and promised to pay him back over the next 2 months. Sorry son, just can't swing it. The wife and I are going on a casino cruise for a few weeks, and funds are tight. I'm sure you'll make do. I was livid and disappointed. I had never been to jail, wasn't on drugs, was working a full-time job, and was literally only asking money for the very first time for help to get a book for my college course. College I was paying my own way through. I didn't talk to him again for 9 years or so. And by the time I did, he had turned into a conservative love my guns more than family bigot. So I guess I was bound to lose respect for him at some point. He was 13 years old, he started smoking in front of me. This was last year. He still smokes. For those asking, it wasn't vape, it was cigarettes. My best friend was sleeping in my bed, staying in my house for free, driving my car and banging my ex-husband. Hearing my boss talk shit about my other boss, yes, there are two, thinking I was the type to talk shit about them was bad enough. But having this happen less than 24 hours after that second boss called the first boss one of their favorite people. All remaining respect I was harboring, gone. One of our friend had lost her job due to pandemic months ago and she borrowed money from the rest of us friends to cover her needs. She was $100 short on her rent, so I covered her for that like 3 months ago. A month after she got a new job with a good pay. After receiving her first check she went straight to shopping and bought a crapload of stuff and blew most of her money. The rest of us waited for a month. Again she did the same thing after getting the second paycheck also. So I called her and asked for my $100 for obvious reasons. She said she doesn't have the money and will pay back as soon as she gets the next salary. And she called one of our friends right after I cut the call and told her that she felt hurt that I asked back the money which I gave her. That was it. Found out one of our friends was cheating on his wife, while she had a miscarriage late into the pregnancy and it had to be stillborn. He also made the girl he was cheating with get an abortion. They got back from the funeral and he went to see the other girl. My best friend was someone I admired so much. He was a very smart person, athletic and funny and just a good person to be around with, but the day he found a girlfriend I decided to sorta like not completely stop talking to him, but I tried to distance myself because I didn't want to be that best friend. P.S. I'm a female, so after that we talked every so often and we would play chess every day. Until there was a sudden change and we only talked once a week or every few days. I got so worried because I thought he was sick or something. Turn out his girlfriend had been blocking me and he was unblocking and then texting me and blocking again. I confronted the girlfriend about it and she just said she didn't like me, so I tried inviting her over so we could become friends and she would realize I wasn't even close to a threat of some sort. Turns out she started hating me more because I was smart, which I'm not in my opinion, and I would create a plan to which I would steal her boyfriend. He ended up not talking to me and blocked me on every social media, and that's the day I realized our friendship of years didn't matter and that he wasn't worth talking to. The fact that he chose her over me, who has been with his during his worst and I've been there for everything, just broke my heart. I'm still broken and it's been around 1 or 2 months and it's still sad considering it's almost his birthday and I had a present for him already. Lost all respect right there.
With